The way that I find my consciousness and my awareness shifted to what is known as the Akashic Records is really an energy type of thing. Now, a way that I will explain this and what I mean by this is imagine that you are yourself a radio. Your consciousness is the one capable of turning the dial and shifting itself to a different song that's playing. So when we think about a radio or a TV, all of these channels, all of the different songs, all the different TV channels are always on. When you are selected on a singular channel, it doesn't mean that all other channels don't exist at that time. They all still do. What's happening is you are selected on that channel. So our consciousness is the one capable of turning the dial. Step one in the ability to do this is knowing that that is the case. So you need to know this. You need to believe it to your core, is to understand and really believe that you have the power yourself with a single choice and decision to turn the dial to a completely different frequency. Now, this being said, all of our experience within even our physical dimension is manifested based on what channel we are turned to. And what channel we are turned to is our vibration. So we're going to think of the word vibration here synonymously with channel, okay? There are infinite channels in the universe. Anything can be experienced. Your only limit is your imagination, is how I'll explain it here. Now, because vibration is synonymous with your TV channel, the way to change channel is to change vibration. Now, when we talk about changing our vibration, there are many different ways to do this. A very powerful way to do this is through meditation, and this is specifically because in meditation, we find ourselves in a space of stillness. And it's in stillness where we find ourselves as the true us. It's where you can really feel who you are without the influence of all this other energy pushing and pulling. So rather than finding ourselves in a state of reaction, like a pinball machine bouncing all over, we find ourselves transporting our consciousness outside of the physical plane of things that are happening, seeing that it's happening, but not feeling the friction, not feeling the resistance, and not finding ourselves in a state of reaction. And that is what enables us to take what we'll call action. Now, it's in action that you can turn the dial. We're going to use that knowledge to achieve this dimension of information. So here's the deal when it comes to the Akashic Records. Because we know that it isn't somewhere that we need to physically get up and go to. It is not somewhere that our consciousness needs to travel to, right? Because all channels are existing right now. We don't need to create any new channel. All you need to really understand up to this point is the fact that you can change the channel, and it's as easy as making a decision to find ourselves in the Akashic Records. So we know that it is not linear, right? We know that it's happening right now. So all we need to do is understand how we can allow our consciousness to resonate at the frequency so that that is the TV channel that our controller changes to. So what you need to ask yourself and accept right now is, do you want to access your past life? If your answer is yes, then this is your first mistake, because this is not a past life. It is what we can refer to here as a parallel life, right? That's the first mistake, okay? This is what will hold our consciousness back from being able to experience this. There are no past lives because there are no channels in the universe or any kind of experience or dimension that are on and then are off at another point in time, because there is no time in the Akashic Records. So it's not past, it's literally present. There is only now, this moment. So we need to feel and truly believe in ourselves fully, to the deepest core of our beliefs, that the past does not exist and neither does the future. A really powerful way that we can understand this and tune ourselves to consciously is by using a linear explanation. as almost kind of like an analogy here that we can use to hold on to tap into this. So this being said, we know that based on right now, this moment, I can influence and create my future. That is obvious, right? I think for the most part, most of us can agree that we right now affect and create our future. What if you were able to understand, though, and could believe that right now, this moment also is creating the past? What if it's actually true that our past is constantly changing based on the present moment? I can't really 100% tell you how you yourself can get to the Akashic Records, but I can tell you what it felt like to be there, and I can tell you the things that I've picked up on that I would like to share with you, and you can allow that to be a frequency that you tune yourself to. So this being said, keep an open mind. Here is what tapping into the past life looks like and how you could tap into that information yourself. I'm sure that you can agree that in our lives, in our personality, who we are, how we feel, all these things, there are different dynamics and dimensions to it. The ones that I want to drive attention to here that can help you to tap into the Akashic, your past lives, your present, all this stuff, is by feeling into A, what are you naturally good at? Okay. This is not going to be something that you are necessarily super passionate about. It usually does manifest that way, but that will make this too complex to think about. Tap into what are you just naturally good at? What do you have natural talents at that just seems to just flow so easily for you? And your life, your physical reality seems to manifest a lot of situations where those natural talents and gifts that you have are able to be utilized, right? Reality will manifest itself in a way where you will keep using this gift, this natural talent, this natural inclination, whatever you have. For example, my biggest natural talent is entertaining people and keeping them interested in whatever I've got going on. Now, that sounds strange, I know, but for me, that manifested as I kept doing drama and theater and acting for the first part of my life. That's what I did and had a lot of success in that. Then I found myself becoming a musician, doing a lot of concerts and live shows. Look at me now making a YouTube channel, expressing myself to you guys. So reality seems to keep manifesting for me situations where I communicate and keep people fixed on me. This is what I'm talking about. We all have a natural kind of energy about us that oftentimes other people will notice, and like I said, life will manifest things for us to continue using that energy, to continue using that skill. This being said, there are also certain aspects and dimensions to our personality, our reality, all these different aspects of this that we find ourselves drawn to things, okay? So we have natural inclinations and we have natural talents, like I said in the first part here, but now what I'm talking about is a different dimension where it's the things that there's this push in us that we want to be part of, like we want to go and do. This can manifest itself as just things that you are attracted to, that for whatever reason, since you were as young as you could remember, you personally felt drawn to this specific topic, right? This specific something, a specific kind of job, specific friends. You might find that you have been attracted to the same kind of girlfriend or boyfriend type relationship, that they all kind of have this certain thing in common, that you keep being attracted to that same thing. This is the energy I'm talking about here, the things that we are drawn to. What I'm talking about here is that with the first part I said, number one, with the things that we are just naturally good at, the things that naturally flow, are an echo of what I tapped into in the Akashic Records, of being what we are here to do right now, in this life, in this moment, the moment right now that is our reality. That is what we are meant to do, is what flows, what naturally happens. And the things that we are drawn to are echoes of our past lives. It is our parallel lives, because what's happening here is we are drawn to experiences that give us information. We are drawn to experiences and circumstances that are learning lessons for us, right? Like life lessons. But because there is nothing new to learn, because everything happens at once, we already know everything, we've already experienced all these lessons, the ones that we keep having over and over and over again are us finding ourselves tapped into our past parallel lives and all that energy that's influencing us. It is, in a sense, physical manifestations of a reminder of who we are and what we know. We are simply creating and manifesting physical experiences to remind ourselves, to trigger this, oh yeah. And yet we keep finding ourselves drawn to it over and over again until we become one with it and we fully learn from it in this lifetime. We will constantly find ourselves drawn to the same thing over and over again, slamming our heads against the wall of things like not working out, yet you keep going over and over and over again. Something doesn't feel good or right, but you just keep doing it over and over and over again. These kinds of things, this is you tapping into past lives. You are trying to grow from this past life, this past energy that is influencing you, but until you fully cement it with the natural inclinations that you have, the natural gifts, talents, the natural energy that flows for you right now in this life, you will keep being drawn to those things. We are attracted towards who we have been. I know that sounds strange, but bear with me. I'm about to explain this better. We are attracted to the energy of who we have been, and we are naturally the energy of who we are. When you are somebody who meditates, you will know what I'm talking about tapping into a certain state of relevant stillness. A place where the thoughts that you hear in your head, a place where the influence of the anxiety throughout the day, this, and that, all these things fade away in the background. They're still there, but in meditation, you find this sense of peace, this sense of feeling into who you really are. At least this is the case with me and other people that I know that meditate and that I've discussed this with. It's a certain energy of who we really are. It's the place where you can step outside of all the influence that is coming at you, all this energy that is this friction and this resistance and this bouncing around, experiencing it all, right? So to find yourself in this state of stillness, of going with the flow of the universe, of God, however you put it, right? We're talking about the same thing here. When you go with the flow, what you're doing is trusting reality. You're trusting the universe. And because all is one, what it means is you're trusting yourself. And it's when we fully trust that energy of who we are and what we're being, and that things will work out for us how they are meant to, it's when we do that the resistance of the things that we feel energetically drawn to that keep knocking us down, for example, start to change. Because like I mentioned, everything is shifting constantly. So when we tap into the energy of the Akashic Records, we tap into the information of everything that ever is, ever will be, ever has been. And because there is no such thing as the past, and it's constantly changing based on who we are right now, if we feel into the stillness of who we are, if we go with the flow and allow our natural abilities to manifest our natural reality, then we are stepping away from force and we are experiencing what is true, raw power and presence of us. That is presence, in my opinion, is being who you are. That's powerful. People will always be drawn to someone who is who they are. That is the most attractive quality about anybody. It's much deeper in dimensions than competence. It is being your real, authentic self, genuine with the power of this moment. That is how you tap into the Akashic Records, by the way. To tap into the Akashic Records and feel your past lives isn't to feel your past lives at all, but to feel your present life, to feel the present energy of this power of right now. The past lives are really cool because, for example, I tapped into this and I felt certain kinds of influence and things that take place that I keep finding myself drawn to and influenced by. That energy continuously has, put a lot of force and resistance into my life. And by tapping into that and understanding that the things that I'm drawn to in that kind of way are echoes of the past, because of this, and because I have that awareness, it doesn't make them go away, because everything always is and will always be. But having the awareness of what those influences are, it means when they come up, you could say, oh, this is a past influence, but I'm not living in the past, I'm living now in this moment. And so you can still have it happening around you in the thought forms and the thought waves, but by tapping into now and just letting it be and accepting and being neutral with it, you will find yourself shifting into the energy of the Akashic. And what this looks like to be there, to be honest with you guys, what it looks like being in the Akashic is like completely blank, infinite space. Absolute nothingness. And that's why it's everything. Because nothing could be anything. Think about it. If I've got a piece of paper and it's blank, there's nothing there, it's empty space, that means it could be anything. It has the potential to be everything and anything that is my creation. Whatever I tap into creatively is what I will draw on the paper, and that's what will be. But if you pick up something that already has something drawn on it, if you're constantly tapped into the past, if you always go to draw a picture on top of all the pictures you've already drawn, well, then it couldn't be anything, because now it's created based on the echo of all the things that have ever been. So what it looks like to be in the Akashic Records is like nothing. It's like empty space. If you've ever passed out or blacked out before, there's this certain energy right before, or kind of right when you come out of it, where it's this sense of confusion and emptiness of like what's going on. But there's this sense of excitement. There's this strange kind of, not adrenaline feeling, but the sense of creation, because you don't know who you are. It's this really weird confusion when you black out of like, who am I, what am I doing here, and what's going on? That's what it's like tapping into the Akashic Records, minus the confusion. Because to be in the Akashic Records, you just have to accept it. There's no resistance or confusion. You don't try and force yourself into the energy of it. You just allow it to be. And because it could be anything, that's how you can tap into everything. So this seems like I'm being super just trying to be philosophical here, but I'm telling you guys, based on my reality, this is what it feels like to be there. So when we think about the fact that we have the power to change the channel, the way you could think about this is by using your thought forms. Imagine right now, vividly as you can, that you're walking in grass, and imagine what that feels like. Imagine smelling the cool breeze. Imagine the sounds of the birds chirping, right? Now, after that, imagine yourself vividly at the beach and feel what it feels like to be there. You can use your imagination to tune yourself to feeling into different energies and feeling even the senses within the physical dimension relevant to being there. So to tap into the Akashic Records, you need to tune yourself and your imagination to nothingness. I can't 100% explain to you how to do that. I've been a space case my whole life, so I think that that's why I have such ease with tapping into this dimension, is because it's very easy for me to shut everything off and just space out. But it's a certain kind of spaced out where it's not just following your imagination. It's not following the pictures in your mind. It's literally picturing nothing, feeling nothing, being nothing, smelling nothing, tasting nothing. It's full-on nothingness that you want to tap into. So I challenge you, or I guess my goal is here to entice you to connect to true nothingness, because that is the base dimension of who you are, and that is the Akashic Records. It's that base dimension, kind of, right? There's a lot of different ways to explain it, but it is that base dimension that is the blank page, and that's what we're tapping into here. So if you like the way that I talk about this kind of information, because everybody expresses things differently, if you would like to see more videos about the Akashic Records, I have found myself recently having a very powerful connection to the Akashic, and I would be happy to do like a whole series on this. So if you have anything specific that you would like to know about the Akashic Records, throw it in the comments below. and I can work on making a video on that and explaining things and maybe tapping into this energy a little bit differently based on what you comment below, how you would like to see it manifested. Now, if you did like this video, I highly recommend checking out this one up above me here. This is one of my favorite videos I've ever made. This one goes deeper into using phenokite to get to the Akashic Records. In this video, I talk about how I literally changed my past by shifting that reality. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in a day from today for my next video. Have a good one. Bye.